final nominee, Bonkers Steve Bobcat. I demand a recount. I got more fan mail and I didn't even get nominated.
Let it be me. Just let it be me.
Repeat, come in car 13. Toon bug at large. Museum robbery suspect in your vicinity. Respond.
Bonkers, wake up! And the winner of this award, which should be mine, is... Bonkers?
Awesome Possum!
A guy who says Awesome Possum wins, and I don't even get a nomination?
Hello everyone, all you St. Canardians. Welcome to another St. Canard Files, a Darkwing Duck podcast. We got a Flashquack B-sides episode today. I'm your host, Will Santana, and...
I'm Mike Russo, and I got more fan mail, and I didn't even get nominated.
Hey, what up, Mike?
Hey, how's it going?
Man, it's going pretty good, man. You know, it's the weekend, and I know you wanted to have a little chit-chat today about some cameos, you know, from DW.
Yeah, definitely. This is gonna be a shorter one, probably the shortest one we've done so far. So we're gonna make this one kind of quick. But yeah, Darkwing has appeared in a few different shows during the Disney Afternoon era that I want to talk about. So I think that would be a fun, quick conversation to have.
Yeah, you know, I'm a fan of cameos. I'm not too familiar with Darkwing's cameos because I think after Darkwing was when I moved back to the States, and that's when I kind of was like I was getting ready into get into middle school, and that's when the sports really took over my life and really didn't watch that much cartoon getting home and stuff anymore. But real quick before you take over, Mike, I am a fan of cameos. You know, I remember like the TGI Friday shows, like you would see Urkel pop up on certain shows. Or
I remember that.
Yeah, you know, or a couple of the Boy Meets World characters, they would pop up on other shows. And I was a fan of the cameos, you know, because like they were still in their same popular character. They weren't just like a random character popping up on the show. Yeah. You know, and I was a fan of it. I know sometimes those episodes kind of got lost in syndication because who did it belong to? And, you know, but I am a fan of it. You know, get a little guest appearance, you know, if you're a fan of the other shows. So go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so since you didn't really see any of these cameos, you might learn a few really interesting things tonight. So why don't we start with Goof Troop? And so Goof Troop was made right after Darkwing Duck, obviously. And, of course, the characters were going to make appearances in the show. Now, I know I pointed one out to you in the very first aired episode from the Disney Afternoon. The episode's titled Acts by Addition. Max looks at his watch. Who's on the watch, Will?
It's playtime.
Right. Quackerjack in this one episode is on Max's watch. So that's not even a Darkwing cameo. That's a Quackerjack cameo of all characters.
I'll take that one any day.
I know, that was really cool. And there's another episode called Unreal Estate. As soon as the episode starts, there's a Darkwing Duck flyer on a telephone pole. And throughout the series, there'll be shots of Pete sitting on the couch watching TV and reading the newspaper, and there'll be pictures of Darkwing in the newspaper. And he'll also be sitting on the couch watching TV, and there'll be pictures of Darkwing and Goslin on the television as well. So yeah, a few cameos in Goof Troop, not a lot, but a few of them. That's not really the main reason I'm here talking about cameos tonight, because I want to talk about Bonkers.
Oh, okay. So you're doing a little sneaky thing here, huh?
Yeah, I want to talk about Bonkers. And we're a month out from Disney Plus, where Bonkers is finally going to be legally available for the first time in 15 years. So people might be talking about Bonkers again. So maybe this is a good time to talk about the show and its insane production history. Will, have you heard anything about this show's production?
No.
Wait till you hear this. How much do you know about Bonkers?
I'll be honest with you. I think I've probably only seen 2 episodes ever.
That's pretty much what my wife said before I forced her to watch a few. She couldn't stand it. Lots of people don't like Bonkers. And it's so infamous that even Animaniacs made fun of it. Everybody remembers that. Slappy Squirrel says to Skippy about a sugary cereal, like, this stuff is pure sugar. No wonder you like that Bonkers show. So yeah, the Bonkers was always Disney's whipping boy, and that's obvious why they haven't shown it much in the past 15 years. But okay, so Bonkers crazy production history. It was not meant to be a Roger Rabbit spin-off TV show because they couldn't do that because Steven Spielberg partly owned Roger Rabbit. It wasn't possible. But they decided to make a TV show called Toon Cop about a cartoon character who was fired from his television show and became a police officer in Hollywood, California, along with a junior police officer named Miranda Wright. And the show was going to be produced by Dwayne Capizzi, who we did mention a few episodes back as a Darkwing producer, story editor, sorry. Robert Hathcock and Greg Wiseman, who went on to produce Gargoyles. And so the original series was going to have this character Bonkers. He was a rookie police officer. And the show was going to be set similar to Roger Rabbit, in which cartoon characters are interacting with real people. So that gave them room to add a lot of characters from Disney shows. There was an episode where Dumbo appeared. There was an episode with Goofy. Ludwig von Drake made a whole bunch of appearances. And, of course, Darkwing Duck, too. But before we get ahead of ourselves, so as they're working on Bonkers, somebody gets the bright idea. Why don't we make the cartoons that Bonkers starred in when he was on television in his fictional universe? We'll make a TV show full of Bonkers cartoons. So and on top of that, Michael Eisner had just purchased the rights to a Belgium comic book character named Marsupilami. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Yes, I have. I remember him on the Disney afternoon promos and everything. Yeah,
the little guy with the long tail. So they decided to make a cartoon show on CBS, not Disney Afternoon, called Raw Toonage. It was like Animaniacs before Animaniacs, Bonkers shorts, Marsupilami shorts. Now, the most fascinating thing about Raw Toonage, there were host segments starring different Disney characters. For example, there was a host segment starring Scrooge McDuck. There was one with Goofy. And get this one in which Don Carnage met Captain Hook.
Oh, that's dope, man.
Yeah, and all three of these are on YouTube. They can be found. Complete episodes of Raw Toonage are very hard to see. Very hard to see. I don't think anybody, and most copies that have been taped are from those CBS airings. And there are two host segments that are of particular note for our podcast. One features Launchpad. And what's interesting about Launchpad's host segment, it's a segment where he is giving flying lessons. And he's designed after the Darkwing Duck version of Launchpad, but his personality and the backgrounds are all done after DuckTales. It's the oddest thing. And it's harder to see. It's not on YouTube. It's on what's the other video sharing service? Vimeo. I'm gonna post these clips on our Facebook group because otherwise I'm just talking about things people are gonna have a hard time seeing. So there's one of Launchpad, which is, like I said, like the Scrooge and Don Carnage ones. They're possible. It's possible to see them. What's not possible to see, and I haven't seen this since 1992, is a host segment starring Ludwig von Drake and Gosalyn.
Oh, that sounds cool.
In which Gosalyn bugs him to make her a monster. And that's literally all I remember about it. I know Gosalyn was there. I did see it when it first aired. It's Christine Cavanaugh. It's Corey Burton doing Ludwig von Drake. But I cannot find it on YouTube. I cannot find it on Dailymotion. I cannot find it on Vimeo. I cannot find it. It's like lost to time.
Oh, that kind of reminds me of a cartoon I used to watch as a kid. It was called The Comic Strip, and they had like all these different shorts, and I just cannot find it.
I've heard of this. I've heard of that.
Yeah, it had Karate Cat, and it had the monsters in the camp. I can't remember some of the other ones, but I cannot find it, man.
I found one screenshot from this episode, from this Gosalyn sequence, that I will also post in our Facebook group. It's a real shame. And of course, I've mentioned before, Raw Toonage is not going to be on Disney Plus. So still, there's going to be no way to see this stuff. So anyway, so there's that. You know, Launchpad, Don Canard, Scrooge McDuck, Goofy, Goslin appearing on this show. But back to Bonkers. Now, so they're producing this show, and Disney is not happy with it. They're not happy at all with it. They don't like the design of the characters. They don't like the animation. They don't like the stories. They don't like it. Period. It's not up to their standards. Do you think they let them finish the episodes?
It sounds like no, they didn't.
No. They let the entire production crew go.
Oh, wow.
And only had 19 finished episodes. So, and those are the episodes in which Darkwing Duck appears. So there's an episode called Casa Bonkers. Obviously, it's a Casablanca parody where you see Darkwing. He's just sitting there at a table. And another one where Bonkers is looking at a photograph of Darkwing, and he's like, whoa, you know Darkwing Duck, implying that Darkwing is like a superstar in the show's universe, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But the most infamous Darkwing appearance in the show, the most popular one, the one everybody, for the most part knows who's watched Bonkers. And of course, I'll post this YouTube video on our Facebook group. There's an episode where Bonkers is having trouble sleeping because a cartoon sheep keeps stealing his dreams. So he's having a dream where he's at an award ceremony. And Darkwing's up on stage at a podium reading the nominees. Mm-hmm. And Darkwing gets aggravated that Bonker is one of the nominees, and he's not. So that line I said at the beginning of the episode, I got more fan mail and I wasn't even nominated, that's from this. It's got Jim and everything.
Okay. And
then Bonkers wins. And Darkwing is furious. He's like, and I'll post screenshots, I'll post the YouTube video. It's funny. I mean, Bonkers, yeah, it's not a great show, but it's cool that they use Darkwing. But we'll never know how much more Darkwing's going to appear in this show because obviously they couldn't produce any more episodes because they let everybody go. They brought in a whole new production team. Now they have the producer of Goof Troop, Robert Taylor, completely redo it. Mm-hmm. Now they bring in Disney Australia to animate it. When Australia wasn't working on the show before. So there's a complete different visual style between the old episodes and the new episodes. They changed his partner from a girl to a guy. His name is Lucky Pickell. Much more like Roger Rabbit now. And Bonkers' design was completely changed. Jim Cummings is doing the voice a little bit differently now. All the Disney character cameos are gone. And except I had mentioned a while back Mickey Mouse. Mickey appears in an episode but you do not see him. He's kidnapped. And you only hear his voice. They have Wayne Allwine doing the voice. It's officially Mickey, but they're still not quite showing the character yet. Because, they're still uneasy about showing Mickey Mouse on television like that. And even with these retools, the show just was not popular. Like I said, Animaniacs made fun of it, and they were still making fun of it 2 years later. The show aired in 93, and Animaniacs episodes made in 95 were still making it. There's another Animaniacs episode where the kids are on a scavenger hunt, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot, and they're going through their list of things that are hard that they haven't found yet. One of the things in the list is a funny episode of Bonkers. It's a shame. I like the show, but I will admit it's not very good. But it's cool. It's an interesting time capsule. Back when Roger Rabbit was popular and these things were kind of happening. And the Darkwing cameos are definitely worth checking out. Like I said, I'll post them on the Facebook group. And that's basically all I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about Bonkers and this production history because it's nuts. And I don't think many people know about it.
I think it's funny the way you said that it's not good, but you enjoyed it. That kind of reminds me of this movie called Jumper with Hayden Christensen.
Oh, God, Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, the movie's bad, but for some reason, I'm just drawn to it. I just enjoyed the movie, but I know everybody hates it. Kind of like White Chicks. White Chicks has such a bad reputation, but I love that movie. It's just so hilarious to me, but I get it, though.
Yeah, when we get Disney Plus, after I check out a couple of Darkwing episodes, that's the first thing I'm going to.
Okay.
And and I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Bonkers, I don't think all the episodes will be on Disney Plus because, oh boy, a lot of banned episodes there, officially banned episodes. But what makes the show appealing to me is if you want the best Australian animation they've ever really done. Watch this show just for the visuals. I urge anybody listening who hasn't given Bonkers a chance, just watch it for the animation. You will be unbelievably impressed. It is that good. It's just a shame the show itself wasn't better written. Honestly, I'll
give it a chance when Disney Plus comes out, man. You know, like I said, I it was just too late for me when it came out. You said 93, yeah, I was right about to step into middle school, and like that's when I was in my sports where I started traveling. You know, the traveling team.
You were busy.
Like, yeah, I was busy, and like that's when you had to try out for the team. You know, so like the motivation was there, but
and it's like. I would have watched anything airing on the Disney afternoon. I taped Darkwing and Goof Troop, but when Bonkers premiered, my priorities were Animaniacs, and I taped that every episode. And now all of Animaniacs is on DVD, but Bonkers is not at all. And I wish I had taped Bonkers and not Animaniacs, because I would still have all of those tapes, and I'd have episodes that nobody could see. The other notable thing about the later episodes of Bonkers, when they recasted the partner into a man, Lucky Pickell, is that he was voiced by Jim. So all these later episodes is basically Jim Cummings talking to himself. So Bonkers is voiced by Jim Cummings, and Lucky is voiced by Jim Cummings.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to see Jim Cummings basically talk to himself for 22 minutes, like rapid fire dialogue this show, but it's Jim going back and forth with himself. Like I've always said, he carries Darkwing Duck, which isn't totally true. That's a disservice to Christine and Terry and Katie and Dan and all of those guys and Michael. But Bonkers, Jim carries Bonkers completely.
Okay.
You know, it's like I said, Will, it's worth watching for the animation and for the voice work. But I won't force you to watch more than 1 or 2 episodes. I promise. Not like DuckTales where I made you watch every one.
Yeah, you were on me hard about DuckTales. You were really on me about it, but you did it for a good purpose. I'm not mad at you for it. But all right, Mike, man. Before we wrap this episode up, man, did you hear we lost somebody, man?
I know, that's a shame. Oh man, you know, and it was Alan Zasloff, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, yes, I didn't want to get his name incorrect. Long career. Long career, going way back, and he had a hand in a lot of the Disney stuff. Yeah,
he was a director, producer, part of the animation team, so he was very busy. Yeah.
but like I always say, if he had a great career, people are gonna remember him, and rest in peace, God bless. I don't really have too much more to say, but. Yeah, it always stinks when we lose one, especially when his career goes that far back.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, anything else you want to plug in real quick, Mike, before we wrap up this Flashquack episode?
No, like I said, this is a short one. We are 20 minutes in and we are done. But like I said, I urge anybody not to give Bonkers a chance in particular, but just watch a few episodes. Let us know how you think about it, because now finally the show can actually be viewed properly. Not every episode, but it'll finally be out there, and I'm blown away that it actually will be. And check out those Goof Troop episodes too if you want to see Quacker Jack on somebody's watch. I wouldn't mind getting a Quacker Jack watch. I'm sure you would too.
Oh man, I would die.
That would be awesome. Maybe we could get someone to make one for you.
Okay.
So anyway, that's it. That's our short little Flashquack about Cameos and Bonkers and Quacker Jack watches.
All right, and you already have our next Flashquack episode planned, so we won't spoil that. But it's coming though. All right.
That should be a good one too. So yeah, that's it. So everybody stay dangerous, and we'll catch you later.
All right, y'all have a good night, y'all.
Night.